You're in the gate. And they're off. Very even beginning. Thunderheart in the center. Westward Look is flashing plenty of speed. Doncic up close. Seismic Spirit. And down on the inside, Mark's Hip is in and among horses. And so Mark's Hip comes through on the inside, vying for the lead with Thunderheart. Those two are head and head. Seismic Spirit is racing in between those two. Doncic in hand, 4-3 off the lead. Then Rosenquist, Bodacious, Inch, and Westward Look. 6 lengths covers them. Mark's Hip is the leader, heading past a half-mile pole with a length advantage. Seismic Spirit is in second. They're followed by Thunderheart 3 deep. Doncic outside of him. Those 4 separated by less than a length. Another 2 back to Bodacious in the red colors. Rosenquist pushed along. Westward Look on the outside of Inch. Doncic with a 4-wide bid on even terms with Seismic Spirit with a quarter of a mile to go. These 2 go on. Mark's Hip is back to third. Bodacious is next. There's an eighth of a mile to go. And it's Doncic on the outside. Seismic Spirit. Late run from Westward Look in the center of the course. Inch in between. 16th pole. Seismic Spirit fighting back gamely inside Doncic. Doncic, Seismic Spirit. Here is the line. Doncic prevails. Seismic Spirit just missed. Then it was Bodacious and a photo between Westward Look and Inch. By most of the wagering cycle, and Mitzi's Express to complete the lineup. Going in. They're off. Mitzi's Express fires out quickly. Mr. Dream Cycle is faster now, and Mr. Dream Cycle up to take the lead. Thirsty Gambler moves into second, and outside of them, Barack's Reflection a close-up third. Last Call London fourth, about 2 lengths off the speed. They're followed by Mitzi's Express and Datsuk at the back of the field. Mr. Dream Cycle 3 furlongs out, leads the way, pressed by Thirsty Gambler in second. Last Call London still in hand, about 2 off the pace in third. They're followed by Barack's Reflection, Mitzi's Express, and Datsuk. A quarter of a mile to go. The battle continues between Mr. Dream Cycle and Thirsty Gambler. Last Call London looking for a seam, just found it, and here comes Last Call London. Confidently ridden up to take command inside the final eighth of a mile. Mitzi's Express is finishing well on the outside as Mr. Dream Cycle holding second. It's all Last Call London, striding out to win by 4.5 lengths. Mr. Dream Cycle second, Barack's Reflection up for third. Photo between Mitzi's Express and Thirsty Gambler. We're in the gate. And they're off. Love Our Family out alertly, Sent by Angels. Shambhala Girl comes away a joint third inside. Midnight Silence and Prestigious at the back of the field. They could not be going any quicker as Love Our Family sprints away to lead it by 2. Sent by Angels is in second, followed by the favorite Midnight Silence, a clear-cut third. A gap of 4 to Shambhala Girl on the outside of Prestigious. 6 furlongs to run, and it's Love Our Family trying to slow things down now. Leads it by a half lane. Midnight Silence will have none of that and goes to put the heat on second. Sent by Angels on the rail in third. 2 more, Prestigious and Shambhala Girl, are right together. They're covered by 4 as they head to the half-mile pole. And it's Love Our Family maintaining the lead and opening it up again to be in front by 2. Midnight Silence second, Sent by Angels, Shambhala Girl, and Prestigious. Heading to the 3/8 pole. And Love Our Family maintains a 2-length advantage. Midnight Silence second. Shambhala Girl making some headway on the outside of Sent by Angels, who's dropping back. And then it's Prestigious. Coming to the quarter pole, Love Our Family. Midnight Silence coming after her now, and Midnight Silence within about a neck as the field turns for home. Midnight Silence, Love Our Family, not done, running on willingly, and it's Love Our Family Midnight Silence fully extended, but is now 2 lengths behind. Frey kept something in the tank for Love Our Family, and she's long gone. Love Our Family all the way. Love Our Family wins it by 2.5. Midnight Silence second. Then it was Shambhala Girl fending off Prestigious for the show dough. And they're off. Saul's Call in the center of the course is out quickest. At the rail, Golden Sunrise comes away in second. They're followed by Uncle John, a joint third. Trumped is now in fourth. At the rail, Barely Functional, 6 lengths off the lead, followed by Forgiving Spirit. Golf Drama is second to last, and My Ransom trails. Saul's Call heads into the far turn with an expanding 3-length lead. Golden Sunrise comfortable in second. Down at the rail comes Uncle John in third. Then it's Trumped, Barely Functional, joined and passed by Forgiving Spirit, making headway while 3 wide, 3 in front of Golf Drama, and My Ransom at the back. Saul's Call, 4-length lead as they turn for home. Uncle John in second. They're followed on the outside by Trumped, who's making some headway now. Extreme outside, Forgiving Spirit, Barely Functional inside of him. Saul's Call still with a 4-length lead. Forgiving Spirit eating up the turf on the outside. This long shot leader, Saul's Call, is holding on. And Saul's Call upsets them in front-running fashion. Forgiving Spirit second. Then it was Barely Functional, Trumped, and a photo between My Ransom and Uncle John. They're in the gate. And they're off. Mr. Chevis, here's Shady Appeal flying through on the inside to take the lead. Handsome Harry comes away in third. Then it's episode 5, 4 off the pace in fourth. Thirsty Love between horses, Ignatowski on the far side, and at the rail, Thirsty Mo. Between them is Thirsty Love. 3/8 to run, Shady Appeal to catch, leads at a length and a half. Mr. Chevis in second. It's 4 more back to episode 5 in third, followed by Handsome Harry. Ignatowski is next, taking fourth with a 1/4 mile to go. Thirsty Mo and Thirsty Love next to one another. Top of the stretch, and it's Shady Appeal going on, leading it by 2 to Mr. Chevis in second. 4 to episode 5 in third. They're in the final furlong, and Shady Appeal keeps on going, looking strong. Shady Appeal, 3-length lead over Mr. Chevis, and that's how they'll finish. It's going to be Shady Appeal. Shady Appeal scores by almost 4. Mr. Chevis second. Photo for third, close. Ignatowski outside episode 5, and then it was Thirsty Love. They're in the gate. And they're off. Castle Knock flies out of the gate. Rexford on the inside, second, followed by Eastbound third in the early going. Ransomware moves up 1 from the outside, and Escape Artist now moves up all the way to take third. Into the first turn, and Castle Knock the leader. Escape Artist second. Rexford on the inside third, and right next to him is Ransomware in fourth. It's another 2 back to Star Prospect fifth, 4 lengths off the leader. The 2 trailers acquired class, and Eastbound is last. They swing on to the backstretch behind Castle Knock, the long shot leader. Has it by a length. Escape Artist cruises into second by himself now, and Rexford is third at the rail. Then comes Ransomware in fourth, 3 lengths off Castle Knock. Acquired Class, Star Prospect are right together past the half-mile pole, and Eastbound continues to trail. Castle Knock a length and a half into the far turn, Escape Artist and Rexford. They're followed by Ransomware in fourth, 3.5 or so off the leader. Acquired Class pushed along down at the rail. Now Eastbound is underway. Eastbound all the way up, take fifth, 5 lengths off the lead. And Star Prospect at back. They turn for home. And Escape Artist is up on the outside to take the lead away from Castle Knock. And he's sprinting very fast through the stretch. Opens up 3, make it 4. Rexford, far outside, Eastbound, Ransomware between them, but they're all left well behind Escape Artist, who is sharp in victory. Escape Artist was geared down, and he still romped. Rexford, Eastbound, Ransomware, and then between Star Prospect and Castle Knock. Essential Business going in. They're in the gate. And they're off. It's a fast start for Essential Business. Storm Doro has speed, as does Toby's Candy, coming through on the inside to take a narrow lead. Zyzix is in fourth, just behind the trio, battling it out on the front end. Tenacious Lady is next. Sugar, and Fried Asparagus. Down the backstretch, Toby's Candy sprints clear. Has it by 2 lengths to Essential Business second. Then Storm Doro, Red Cap in between. Hustled along in third, then in a little bit tight between rivals, but still in the thick of it. 3 more. Sugar is racing on the outside of Tenacious Lady. At the rail comes Zyzix, and a length to Fried Asparagus. They have a quarter to go. Toby's Candy, Essential Business on the outside. Then Storm Doro in third. There's an 1/8 of a mile to go, and Essential Business kicks it in, puts away Toby's Candy, and all the rest. Essential Business opening up authoritatively through the stretch. She is sprinting to an easy win. Fried Asparagus completes the exacta. Sugar third, then Tenacious Lady and Storm Doro. And they're off. Phosphorescence out alertly. So was Wizard of Westwood, who's now coming through on the inside. And Wizard of Westwood will set the early tempo. Maltese Falcon is up close in the early stages. Mi Hermano Ramon now moves in to claim the second spot. Phosphorescence now third, followed by El Perfecto fourth. Then it's Maltese Falcon racing on the inside of Smart Uncle and Worcester outside of them. They're compact behind Wizard of Westwood, who's striding out very willingly, has it a length and a half. Mi Hermano Ramon is a clear-cut second, 3 more to Phosphorescence third. El Perfecto, Worcester is next, followed on the inside by Maltese Falcon, and Smart Uncle is 7 lengths off the lead. Around the clubhouse turn, it's Abel Cedillo and Wizard of Westwood leading the way, just under a length. Mi Hermano Ramon stays close in second. A gap of almost 4, back to Phosphorescence in third, followed by El Perfecto on the rail in fourth. Then it's Worcester in the 5th spot, 7 or 8 lengths off the lead. Maltese Falcon is covered up inside of him, and Smart Uncle at the back. Less than a half mile to go in the cinema. And it's Wizard of Westwood, the controlling speed, opening it up to a length and a half now on Mi Hermano Ramon, who's called on to try and cut into the margin, but Wizard of Westwood keeps on going strongly. Mi Hermano Ramon second, 4 lengths back. Maltese Falcon moving up outside Phosphorescence, then El Perfecto, Worcester, and Smart Uncle there at the top of the stretch. Wizard of Westwood, Mi Hermano Ramon trying to get by him. Wizard of Westwood a length and a half. Maltese Falcon is finishing strongly in third, but has 4 to make up. It's Wizard of Westwood, Maltese Falcon storming on the outside, but Wizard of Westwood waved goodbye early. Coast to coast in the cinema. Maltese Falcon a rallying second. Mi Hermano Ramon, Smart Uncle, and Phosphorescence. And they're off. Midnight Mammoth sent hard by Kyle Frey, and It's My House, and these two in a duel into the first turn. American Admiral is right together with Missed the Cut. It's a spirited battle through the opening quarter mile. It's My House on the inside, and Midnight Mammoth, and they've pulled 3.5 or 4 clear of American Admiral with the favorite Missed the Cut at the back of the field. 6 furlongs to run. It's My House proves quicker. Opens up a length now on Midnight Mammoth in second. Then it's American Admiral and Missed the Cut. Only 3 lengths covers the field suddenly as they go to the 5/8 pole. Armando Aguilar and It's My House, the leader by a length. Midnight Mammoth comes back right at him in second. American Admiral, 3 off the pace, and outside of him, Missed the Cut. Less than a half mile to go, and Midnight Mammoth has taken the lead away from It's My House. Missed the Cut, American Admiral, 2 lengths front to back, 3 furlongs from the money. And it's Midnight Mammoth edging clear of It's My House. On the outside, Missed the Cut, and American Admiral moving after this front-running Midnight Mammoth, who's the one to catch at the quarter pole. Midnight Mammoth just in front. American Admiral, Missed the Cut, swings up, and It's My House. They straighten up for home. Midnight Mammoth, American Admiral. American Admiral has taken the lead. Missed the Cut, trying to get to him, and Midnight Mammoth at the rail. It's American Admiral under Ramon Vasquez with big strides and an easy win for him. 3 lengths. Missed the Cut, Midnight Mammoth, It's My House. And they're off. Irresistible Force was out alertly. Now here comes Riding the Storm Out, sprinting rapidly at the rail to take over. Sultry Kitten is in between horses third. They're followed by First Time in Forever, a joint fourth. Down at the rail, My Moon is making some headway, only about 3 lengths off the lead. YOLO Calls has 4 to make up. Hot Tea is now racing behind them. First Time in Forever shuffling back. Then comes Strikingly, less than a half mile to go. And outside of Strikingly is Annie's Joy. And then it is a distance indeed, the Bolt's Gal. Around the far turn, Riding the Storm Out, an Irresistible Force going at it on the front end. My Moon moving in from third, followed by Sultry Kitten fourth. Another 2 back to Hot Tea, who's 5 lengths off the lead as Irresistible Force goes on at the top of the stretch. My Moon running a very good race, moving into second. At the rail, Riding the Storm Out, followed by Hot Tea, who's trying to rally between horses. They're in the final furlong, and Irresistible Force has given them the slip. Irresistible Force, a convincing win. Scores by 2.5. Hot Tea was second. Sultry Kitten in front of My Moon, and then it was Strikingly to complete the super high five. Irresistible Force draws in and gets the money.
You probably already realize it, but you know what? Santa Anita is a mecca for many, many people. And furthest proof of that is that come Breeders' Cup weekend, the first weekend in November, obviously people and players from all around the world will be making their pilgrimage right here to the great race place. By the way, that's just 140 days away from now. But first things first, we've got closing weekend, unfortunately, here. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Closing day means mandatory payout in all the pools, including the 20-cent Rainbow Pick 6. We've got 34 races for you lined up over the next 3 days. Big fields, plenty of betting opportunities. And our guest today, he's a pilgrim as well. He's visiting us from St. Louis, Missouri. He's a horse owner and a horse player. His name, John Moroney. John, welcome to the seminar.
Thanks,
Happy Friday.
Tom. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Long overdue to have you here. It's great to have you here. You're a future, you're an Illinois resident, shall I say, from downstate St. Louis, of course.
Yes.
Cut your teeth at Fairmount Park. Talk to us about the very first time you ever went to the racetrack. How old were you, and what was kind of the initiation process?
Probably 5 or 6 years old. My dad used to go over, so he took me over when I was a little kid.
Told your mom he was taking you to the park?
My dad, my Uncle Tom, and just fell in love with it.
Sure.
And we had Cahokia Downs and Fairmont, and back then, Fairmont, we'd run 200 days a year. We'd have 10 races a day, full fields. I mean, it was...
Cahokia Downs is where Tom Durkin actually started his career. Do you remember hearing him calling the races down there?
Dave Johnson was at Fairmont.
Wow.
So, and John Scully was at Fairmont for many years. He was really a top-notch announcer.
What is it about handicapping the races, John, that kind of turns you on? You're a successful businessman. You own a lot of Taco Bell franchises, which we'll get to in a moment. But what is it about the thrill of handicapping that kind of makes you escape from the real world?
I think it started with the beauty of the horse and just trying to... It's almost like playing the stock market, but knowing your results in 20 minutes, right?
Exactly.
And I've tried, my wife will tell you, I've got every handicapping book that's been written. I've done all in, I mean, I could go on and on.
But that's the intrigue of it, right? There's no right answer. We all try and find that holy grail, but at the end of the day, there's no one right way to pick a winner.
Correct. My goal in life was to write a handicapping book, and I'm still on the preamble.
The first chapter, right?
I haven't even got that far. So, but it's been a joy. I bet, John Waller was my mentor. He owned the bank in the small town I went to high school in, and he owned horses at Fairmont. I used to drive out to his farm in Sullivan, Missouri, and go, "Oh man, I would love to own this. I'd love to be involved with this game." And so we struck up a friendship, and he helped me get started back in 1989. And opened one Taco Bell, and then met my wife there, and have 3 children. And my son is an avid player, and he's kind of back home running the business, so Dad can come out here and have fun with you. So, well,
it's a delight to have you here on track. It's not the first time you visited this meet. You come out as often as you can. You've got 2 runners in today, which we'll talk about later. But talk to us maybe about 1 or 2 horses that maybe have had the most success for you, and why you made the transition from being a horse player to a horse owner.
Well, I wanted to do both, so I bought my first horse from my mentor. The name was Missouri Ranger. He paid $750 for him, and he couldn't even compete at Fairmont, so sent him to Delvin Harbor, who was my dear friend who just passed away not too long ago, and he took him up to Lincoln, Nebraska, and we won at Lincoln and Columbus. And
never gets old in the winter circle, right?
That's right. That's right. And it was a 9-hour drive. I remember the Cardinals were playing in the World Series, so we won the race during the day, and I drove all the way back to St. Louis, listening to the World Series game. So I've had horses with Steve Manley, my trainer back there, for over 20 years, and he's a great guy, and we've had a lot of fun. And Mike Bowery and Anthony Fick, those guys, and Bill have horses in today. They introduced me to Terry about, I guess, 3 or 4 years ago. And what a good thing that was. And Terry's just been awesome. His team, Amanda, Walter at the farm.
Yes.
Walter was a trainer when we first started. And it's just been a joy. The racing's been great, but being with them and their company is even better.
You mentioned Terry, and of course, that's Terry Lovinger, one of the most prominent owners and breeders we have here in the state of California. And let's face it, California is not a bad place to race, right? We've got great weather. We've got beautiful facilities. The purses are decent. They're not great. We understand why, because we don't have any sort of casino gaming to supplement the purses. But you're a big advocate for California racing.
Yes, because I know Terry's well invested in it. And obviously, if you look at this facility and Del Mar, they're my 2 favorite tracks of all time, right? So if I could help support the product, plus it's neat to be able to come out here and watch your horses run. And, you know, we've had some success back home, but this has really been a lot. I mean, it's been awesome. And anything I could do to help promote, you know, the sport in California, you know, I want to do everything I can as well.
You're wearing a jacket that almost looks like a Taco Bell jacket. I'm assuming that's your silks that you have. Are the silks similar to Taco Bell colors? And is that why you chose those silks?
It is. You got a good eye, Tom. What happened was my partner who had horses, his colors were red with a yellow sash. And so out of tribute to him, I took the Taco Bell colors and stole his colors, silks, and put my colors on there. So
you own a number of franchises. Are they all in the Midwest, all in the Missouri, Illinois area?
We have 22. We have 6 in Missouri and 13 in Illinois and 2 in Paducah and 1 in Murray, Kentucky.
When are you going to do Mac the Dorito Supreme? That's obviously the branching out of the different flavors is something that I'm sure you guys as franchisees and even the ownership group has a lot of fun with.
Yeah, you know, we've got wonderful in our corporate headquarters is right in Irvine.
Yes, right off the freeway.
Yeah, right. So I've been there one time in 33 years. So
they just want you to pay the bills.
As long as they don't ask you to, you know, as long as you don't get called there, you're okay. But it's been a great brand. The Mark King is the president of Taco Bell, and he's very, you know, he was with TaylorMade for 33 years, and he's got a good business sense, and the brand has just really flourished, and it's proud to be a part of it. These guys have done an awesome job.
Are you able to entice any of your younger workers to maybe come out and enjoy the day at the races? Do you ever do anything like that for them?
I'm sure they're all at the office watching this today, so probably not a lot of productivity going on at our.
But that means handles up at Santa Anita.
Yeah, but that's okay. They're yeah, it's been, like I said, I've been very blessed. I've met the finest people in this game, and it's just so humbling. You know, Louis was your host last week. His box is right next to mine, and it's just his crew that they have. It's just so much fun. It's just awesome.
It's a unique sport, right? Because everybody walks into the admission gates basically becoming an equal, whether you have $1 zillion or you took the bus to the racetrack, right? That's really what makes it so much fun,
right? Is
we're all sharing in the common love for horse racing, yet we come from so many different and diverse socioeconomic backgrounds.
Yeah, everybody's on the same page trying to pick a winner, right?
Yeah.
And so it's just a great game. And I know we're going through little issues right now, but you know, if we keep continuing as an industry doing what we need to be doing, you know, we're going to be fine.
We're going to try and have John pick 10 winners on today's card. It's a Herculean task, but he's up for it. We're going to find out who he likes on today's card. But before we do any of that, let's toss the microphone over to track announcer Frank Miramati and get the early changes on a beautiful Friday afternoon here at the Great Race Place.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Santa Anita Park. The track is fast and the turf is firm. The rail on the turf is out 20 feet. Here are the early changes. The first race is the start of the 50-cent early pick 5. We have a super high 5 carryover from last week of $12,031. Number 5, Golden Again, 2 pounds over. In the second race, number 6, Autumn Chill, 2 pounds over. Anchor note in race 3. In the 4th, no high 5 wagering. Scratch number 1, Affable. Scratch number 3, Brazenly. 1 and 3 out of the 4th. The 5th is the start of the Rainbow Pick 6. The jackpot pool for a single ticket winner starts with $192,000. There's no high 5 wagering. Scratch number 3, Unjokeable. With that scratch, there is a revised morning line. In the 6th, scratch 1, Warrior's Moon. Scratch 6, True Patriot. The late pick 5 starts with race 6. In the 7th race, number 1, See Her Beauty 2 over. 6 Just Is, 4 pounds over. 8th race, scratch 5, Rosy Edge. Number 4, Point and Shoot carries 2 pounds over. Scratch 7, Peppermint Flirt. Scratch 9, Miss Kaline. Scratch numbers 5, 7, and 9 out of the 8th. In the 9th, scratch number 1, Liberal Lady. Scratch number 8, She's Resilient. Overweight number 4 are Swervin' Gervin, 1 pound over. There is no high 5 wagering in race 9. And in the 10th, scratch number 12, Circle of Champions. Overweight 8, Tangled Up in Gray, 4 pounds over. Those are the changes on today's card. Enjoy your day at Santa Anita Park. Post time for the opener in 57 minutes at 1 p.m. Let's go back to Quigley's Corner. His special guest today is John Moroney.
Welcome back. We're talking horses with John Moroney. He's visiting us from the Show Me State. He lives in the state of Missouri, but he's an avid horse player. Also, he's a horse owner. He's got 2 runners in on today's card. We're going to find out if he likes those 2 runners as well as who he likes on today's 10-race card. So let's roll up our sleeves, John, and get right to race number 1, which begins the popular 50-cent early pick 5. Also, we've got a super high 5 carryover. Nobody hit it on the last race on Sunday. The carryover coming into race number 1 is $12,000. We're going 1 mile on the turf course. This race is a starter allowance race for fillies and mares going 1 mile on the turf course. As I mentioned, the rails today are at 20 feet. The original morning line favorite was down on the rail, Rose Barton, fresh off a victory for trainer Bob Hess. But the current one taking the betting action, John, is number 6, Ice Queen, 6-1 on John White's morning line, now down to 2-1 with 56 minutes to post. How'd you see race 1?
The 2 horses that I had, Tom, were 5 and 6, and the reason I like the 5, I might be a homer because Terry's partner's on the horse.
It's okay to be a homer on
but
the
I
show.
talked to Steve Knapp yesterday, and Steve said the last 3 races this horse has gotten in trouble, steadied and blocked and checked, and he thinks with a clean trip, and at the 8-1 morning line, I think that this horse is worth a play. Just because of the trouble, and if 2 of the last 3 races he's drawn the rail, and so if he can get a clean trip, I think he'll run good today, or she'll run good today.
Golden again, who you mentioned, John, 8-1 on the morning line, now down to 7-2 with that trouble that you mentioned. And the other bet down horse, who I did talk about just a few moments ago, number 6, Ice Queen, is your second choice. She has 2 career wins. Both came at this distance, both on the turf course. What do you like about her?
I've started using this Equix with John.
Oh yes, from from Arizona.
Yes,
yes.
And I actually
Circles
talked
and
to him
squares.
yesterday. Yeah, John Doyle.
Yes,
and I talked to him a little bit, and I've been about the last 3 weeks been looking at his. So it's pretty cool. It's really good
It is.
that I've looked at, and so he had a note on this horse, that got in trouble last time, and he thought this horse would. That she would run much better today. And I used the flow stuff that the guys, the Plod boys used back then.
Yeah.
And both of the last 2 races, this horse was against the flow. So that's kind of why I landed on 5 and 6.
Number 6, Ice Queen, if you have the racing form in front of you, as John indicated, weighted, never found room is not a running line you see very often in the racing form, but certainly no truer words were spoken. Certainly if number 6, Ice Queen, can find some room today with the switch over to jockey Giovanni Franco, perhaps she'll find the winner's circle. Race number 2 is a race you're interested in, John. Race number 2 is for maiden special weight. 2-year-old fillies traveling 5 furlongs in the main track. It also begins the 50-cent early pick 4. We've got a field of 7. The morning line favorite, number 3, She's My Niece from the Doug O'Neill barn, is 6-5 on John White's morning line. But you partly own number 2, Cocktail Cutie, who had one career out, kind of got banged around at the start, and then finished 4th in a field of 6. Before we get your thoughts on the race, John, courtesy of our friends at xbtv.com, let's watch the workout for Cocktail Cutie. This was a team drill back on May 27th since she last raced in her debut. She's on the inside here. She's the gray, and maybe more importantly, John, the workout mate is a runner by the name of Chicken Finger Friday, who Steve Knapp just claimed out of a $16,000 claiming victory back on April 23rd. So one race doesn't make a career, and I like the way Cocktail Cutie is traveling here this morning inside of the recent winner.
Yeah, I talked to Steve yesterday, and what happened was he said that this little filly got sick on him. And so that's why he had to stop on her. He says she's been working much better, and he thought that she fit in here today.
Look how well she's working here. Sometimes inside can be an intimidating place for a lightly raced filly, but certainly she's doing very, very well going to the wire, keeping in mind her workmate is already a multiple winner.
Right. And she did have some trouble. It was a rough start. And like I said, Steve said that she is training much better. And she is Calbred in an open race, so that's a little bit of a disadvantage. But he's confident, and that's why he put her in there.
Yeah,
so.
Cocktail Cutie, you mentioned, John, comes out of a Calbred filly maiden special weight race. That was a split division, and this was the faster division by a full second. Fly a Fantasy was very impressive for trainer Jeff Bondi under Mike Smith in the saddle. So certainly that was a very live race, even though it was only for Calbreds. I know you like Cocktail Cutie, but you're also concerned about the favorite, She's My Niece, if she runs back to her last effort.
I would say that she would be the horse to beat. Doug O'Neill's horse, the 3. Yes.
Yeah, she earned a Beyer speed figure of 70 last time she ran on May 27th. You can see the par Beyer speed figure is 66 for this level, so she's already exceeded par. But you're drawing inside. I would assume you're probably expecting her to show a little bit more speed today based on that workout.
I would think that would be the plan, yes. I would think that would be the with Ramon Vasquez on her, I think that's the plan.
3-2-2-3 with John Moroney certainly having a vested interest in number 2, Cocktail Cutie. Let's turn the page. We're back on the turf course sprinting. 5.5 furlongs of the distance. This is a straight allowance race. We've got a field of 7. Number 2, Noble Reflection, who set a track record 2 races back for trainer George Papadromo, is the 2-1 morning line favorite. How'd you see race 3, John?
I'm going to try to beat the 2 with the 3, Phil D'Amato's horse. I know that it hasn't run since December. It seems to be working well. The workout report was good. And I think this distance is going to rewrite up the 3, Turn on the Jets alley. Nothing wrong with George's horse, the 2. But I figured that horse is going to probably be a pretty short price. So I looked at that and decided that I think we'll play 3-2.
Just a question for you, John. Generally speaking, focus on number 3, Turn on the Jets, as the example. We haven't seen Turn on the Jets since early December at Del Mar. Of course, that basically equates to almost a 6-month layoff. How frustrating is it for you as an owner to have to continually pay the bills and yet not get a race into the horse for over 6 months? That has to test your patience.
Well, even now, we've always been. I should say, and Terry I know is the same way. If there's any problems with the horse, we give them the time off that they need.
And even more than they might need.
Yes, just because, and even more so with the world that we live in today. But we've always tried to do what's right for the horse, and that's the thing back home with Steve Manley. We never run a horse that's not fit, not sound.
We mentioned, John, that you cut your teeth at Fairmount Park, which is now known as FanDuel Racing. I haven't been back to the St. Louis area in quite some time. Have they made significant improvements to the track? Have they upgraded the grandstand? Did they add a sports book? Give us a glimpse into what FanDuel Racing is like these days.
They have added the sports book, and so the horsemen get no cut of that. So obviously we haven't benefited from it. The purses are up a little bit, but we run 14 races a week. We run 2 days a week. We're on Tuesday afternoons. And I was over there last Tuesday, and there's probably 4,000 or 5,000 people that go. They love the library, and it's 4 or 5 horse fields. I mean, it's struggling like everywhere else.
Sure.
But the people just absolutely love it.
It's funny when you go to these smaller tracks and they're not hardened horse players and handicappers like we are here in Southern California. They treat every race almost like the Kentucky Derby, right? I mean, it's really special for them to spend a day out at the track. They might not be sophisticated handicappers, but they love the sport.
If the parking lot's full, I mean, it's fun to see because people are there and enjoying it. Like I said, we run 7 races a day.
Sure.
And we only run 2 days a week. So, but I've got, my buddies that I've hung out with, my buddies Rick in St. Louis, and we go to the track, and I bring Randy and Tom and Ed and Doug Knockman. These guys all come. We travel together. We'll go to Preakness, and we'll go to, but most of it, I try to get them guys to come out here. So,
well, we appreciate that. The more people we can get on track, the better off we all are. That's for sure. Race number 4, we're back sprinting on the main track. 6 furlongs the distance. This race is the allowance optional claiming race. Non-winners of 2 other than. There are 2 scratches. Scratch the 1 and the 3 leaves us with a field of 5. The comebacker who was last seen in the Breeders' Cup Sprint, number 6, American Theorem, once again for trainer George Papadromo, is the 9-5 morning line favorite. We were talking about layoffs. This horse doesn't necessarily need to win today, simply because I don't think this is the ultimate goal, John.
Oh, I agree. And I was looking at that using your thought process, but I think he's good enough.
He's a grade 1 winner, right?
Yeah,
you know what
he's
I mean?
good
At the
enough,
end of the
even
day.
if he's not 100% cranked. I think he's still probably good enough to win this race. So I had 6-7 down.
Yeah, you give a little love to Kid Corleone as well, coming off a layoff. There's a number of layoff runners on today's card, which makes handicapping tricky. But what did you like about Kid Corleone? Was it workout reports? Was it the fact that he actually ran pretty well in his first start over the main track? What did you like about Kid Corleone?
I liked that race at Del Mar.
Yeah, how
and
could you
then
not?
he moved up to a grade 2, set the pace, and probably got tired. Against the flow. I had a flow number of 90, and so this horse was up against it. Probably pretty 146, 130 time form, quarter and half. So figured that was a pretty hot pace, and this would probably be a little more to his liking today.
6 and 7 in race number 4. Let's take a look at race number 5 on today's 10-race card. That begins the 20-cent Rainbow Pick 6. The jackpot single ticket carryover now up to $192,000. That amount plus whatever is wagered today will be yours if you're the only winning ticket. A couple of Pick 6 promotions to close out the weekend here at Santa Anita tomorrow. The Pick 6 promotion is if you're the only winning ticket in the Pick 6, the payout will be $1 million guaranteed regardless of pool size. Great card tomorrow. If you haven't started to handicap it yet, you'll enjoy it once you start to do so. And then on Sunday, of course, mandatory payout on closing day in all the pools, including the 20-cent Pick 6. But let's take a look at race number 5. This is a maiden optional claiming race, sprinting 6 furlongs in the main track for fillies and mares. 1 scratch. Scratch the original morning line favorite, number 3, Unjokeable. Leaves us with a field of 6. The revised morning line favorite now on the bottom is number 7, Side by Side, 2-1 on the morning line. Before we get your thoughts on the race, John, I wanted to show the replay back on May 26th. That's because 3 runners from that particular race come back in this race. It would include number 2, Sweet Mother Mary, number 4, Little Town Sis, and the revised morning line favorite, number 7, Side by Side, comes out of this race back on May 26th. Side by Side will be closing ground coming up the rail in the replay we're about to watch as we listen to Frank Miramonte describe the action.
And they're off. Princess Adelaide with a smooth start. Secrets Told has plenty of speed, and these 2 hook up immediately. Benedict Canyon, 2 off the pace in third, followed by Quiet Secretary between horses, Hotitude at the rail, and 3 more to Tis a Macho Girl. Princess Adelaide narrowly as they head to the half-mile pole. Secrets Told a neck back second, 2 more. Benedict Canyon racing on the outside of Hotitude with Quiet Secretary in the middle. 5 back to Tis a Macho Girl into the far turn, and it's Princess Adelaide just under a length. Secrets Told asked to keep pace second. Still 2 more. Hotitude at the rail. Benedict Canyon on the outside and Quiet Secretary between. Tis a Macho Girl trails. They're turning for home, and Princess Adelaide and Secrets Told 1-2 throughout. Princess Adelaide lets it out a notch with a furlong to go. Opens up a length and a half on Secrets Told in second. From the back of the field, Tis a Macho Girl finishing with some interest. Past the 16th pole, Princess Adelaide a length over Secrets Told, and that's how they'll finish. Princess Adelaide wins it by a length. Secrets Told was second. Tis a Macho Girl third, and then Hotitude.
And that replay will help us tomorrow when Hoditude runs back. Unfortunately, it won't help us today for race number 5. We got our dates transposed there. That was the first race replay from May 27th. We wanted to show the first race replay from May 26th, but nevertheless, because you have the availability to pull up a race replays absolutely free of charge, you can go back and watch it. I think you'll find it interesting. I know that you watched the replay and saw side-by-side closing ground, but that doesn't necessarily mean that she'll win this race. Who'd you like in race 5 and why?
I originally was on the 3 till it scratched, and then went back and looked at Sweet Mother Mary. And the horse that I really kind of thought was going to be a price, it still may be, is Dancing Mo. I was talking to John Doyle yesterday, and he liked the way this horse plotted on his graph. He liked the fact, and I agree, this is the easiest company that this filly has run against. And he thought that this filly would has a big shot to run 1, 2, 3 today, and so that's what I was going with 3-5. But now I'm going to use the 2 on top, go 2-5. The 2 was kind of against the flow in that race, and Mike Smith, and on the Thoroughgraph ran a 15, which is competitive with this group, and so I figured a second start, Ron Ellis would improve.
John, you've thrown the kitchen sink at us in terms of how you analyze a race. You've mentioned Thoroughgraphs, you've mentioned optics, you've mentioned workout reports, you've mentioned XPTV.com, you've got the racing form in front of you. Certainly one can never say that you're not prepared when you attack a day's card, but you make a very good point about your second choice, number 5, Dancing Mo. All you need to do is go back to that October 8th race, which was her last race in 2022. Although she got beaten by 11 lengths, the winner that day earned a 90 Beyer speed figure. It was the highest Beyer speed figure for a 2-year-old in California as of that point. It was actually the 4th highest Beyer speed figure for anybody in the country as of that point as well. So the fact she got dusted in a very fast race, certainly can't hold that against her. And her comeback race, as you mentioned, you can see from a Beyer speed figure standpoint, was actually an improvement over that number back in October. So she's got every right to improve at a big price. 2 and 5 is how John Moroney, our seminar guest, sees race number 5. Race number 6 begins the 50-cent late pick 5. Take note that this race, if you have a program in front of you, it's named in honor of the Los Angeles Chargers football team, who's enjoying a day out at the races today. Welcome everybody from the Los Angeles Chargers football organization. In race number 6, we're going 1 mile on the turf course for Calbred, fillies and mares. It's an allowance optional claiming race, non-winners of 1 other than. 2 scratches, both number 1 and number 6 will not compete. Leaves us with a field of 7. Number 7, Harper's Gallop from the Leonard Powell barn, is the 5-2 morning line favorite. We've been talking a lot about the mounts that Juan Hernandez rides today, perhaps understandably so, because he's their leading rider. Do you like Harper's Gallop in race number 6, John?
I'm going to go with 5-8. I'm Ghost 'em. I think the Fick brothers, I talked to them last night and said, give me your update on your.
Did they know you were doing the seminar before you spill any secrets?
No, they did. I kind of let the cat out of the bag, but I think this horse had some trouble in the past, and got in trouble and blocked in this race, and was down on the rail and couldn't get through. Went back to Maldonado. So I think this filly's going to be put on the lead today, and with Maldonado, I think that the price is going to be nice. And I like the 5, and as a price horse, I'm going to use the 8. I really did like the 6 in that race as well, True Patriot, but she scratched. So Peter Miller Barnes, she's a joker, taking the blinkers off. I think if you go back to that mile race at Del Mar in August, the Thoroughgraph numbers certainly fit. She ran on 11 last time. So that's competitive in this field.
Number 8, She's a Joker, takes blinkers off and is also in for the $40,000 tag. It's her 3rd off a layoff. She resides in the Peter Miller barn. Certainly, he is always dangerous, and she has 2 career wins. Both came right over the Santa Anita turf course. John, before we take a look at race number 7, a question for you. Seems like you're picking some mid-level prices today. Is there a certain price where you won't bet a horse? In other words, a prohibitive favorite that looks like a stone-cold lock. Will you just step away, or will you maybe single it in your multi-race exotics? What's your philosophy when it comes to gambling?
I probably tend more to step away. If I could, the problem that I have, and I've always tried to set a line and always have a fair odds line that I want to use.
Yes.
And the problem today is, if you bet a horse and you think the fair odds is 4-1, and you bet them, and he goes in the gate at 4-1. He comes out at 8-5.
Kind of frustrating, isn't it?
It is, because those guys bet a lot of money now, and
at the last minute.
Yes, and so if that's your strategy, then you get frustrated, because if the horse runs bad, you say, well, at 8-5, I probably wouldn't bet that horse. I probably would have went in a different direction.
It's a common frustration.
And then if it wins,
players.
you go, well, I like 4-1 a whole lot better than I liked 8-5.
Yes.
So, but and my exacta plays haven't been that good. I've kind of tried to work with going to doubles, but I think part of the problem is you probably know, I've got so much stuff, and I need, I'm in the process of trying to figure out what's the best. I have fun with it all, but sometimes I have information overload.
You got a lot of ingredients on the stove as you're putting the meal together, right?
It is a potpourri of trying to figure it out.
Race number 7 begins the 50-cent late pick 4. We're sprinting 6 furlongs on the main track for maiden special weight. Calbred, fillies, and mares. Look at this field, a field of 11, and the morning line favorite, a lukewarm morning line favorite at that is number 8, Diamonds Danzig, 7-2, who was last seen in the Southwest running at tracks like Turf Paradise and Sunland Park. You've also got a runner in here who ran very impressively first time out, John, number 10. Work and Flirt was dead last, turning for home, flew late, wasn't even in the picture until the very last jump. Do you expect Work and Flirt maybe with a little bit longer distance today to appreciate this distance? I
think so. I was watching that race in the car. I've got a dear friend of mine, Hank Comos. He comes out to the races with me. He's a fill-in when my wife can't come. So Hank, his wife Holly lets him come. So it's, bless her heart. But so he always comes out with me. So I was driving to their house. Janine was driving, my wife, and I was watching the race on my phone. At the top of the stretch, I threw the phone down. I go, wait, we got no shot.
And then unbelievable.
And I got a text saying, I can't believe you ran second. And I went, what? No way.
At 40-1 odds.
At 40-1. Yeah. So I had bet 20 and 20 on the horse. And so the flow was 100 that day. So, I mean, it was set up for closers. I guess there was a fast pace, but I was impressed because I couldn't, where she was at, I said, there's no way she gets, I didn't even watch, right?
And Fly Me to the Moon, who's drawn right outside of you today, she was second to last.
Right.
She actually made the move before you. She looked like she might win the race. She didn't change leads. And then lo and behold, you came flying right by her on the wire.
I bet the 7 horses this first out to Good Magic. If you get a Good Magic California bred, that's a pretty nice breeding. Huge. And the horse got off slow on the turf, and so I would say that the 7 is probably a horse to beat. I just hope we can, work out a nice trip and turn for home and make a run. Work and Flirt certainly is not going to be 40-1 today. John White has her laid at 6-1 on the morning line. And you mentioned number 7, Strange Addiction, owned and bred by Legacy Ranch. Certainly they're huge supporters of California racing. Blinkers go on today, and they get the services of our leading rider, Juan Hernandez. Race number 8, we are traveling 1 mile on the turf course for fillies and mares. This is for $32,000 claimers, non-winners of 2 races lifetime. There have been 3 defections from the race. Number 5, Rosie Edge, number 7, Peppermint Flirt, and number 9, Miss K-Line, all will not compete. Leaves us with a field of 7. Number 6, Anna Glossa from the Phil D'Amato barn is the 5-2 morning line favorite. Do you have a preference, John? Do you like turf racing? Do you like main track racing? Does it really not matter to you? I really do like turf racing. It seems to be way more competitive, doesn't it? It's more strategic. They're more clumped together at the wire, which makes for an exciting finish. Exactly. Usually bigger fields, and trying to work out a trip, and sometimes you get frustrated because your horse gets on the inside and you're saving ground, which is what you're supposed to do on turf, and then the hole just doesn't open up. It's a double-edged sword. That's right. Yeah. That's right. It's kind of funny in this race. My trainer got the one horse, Slam Diego, claimed from him back in June last year at Churchill. So it's kind of, I call him and say, hey, an old horse you got's running. You're in the Santa Anita form today. So cleverly named as well. Certainly a little bit in honor of San Diego, but 3-1 on the morning line for Slam Diego. So Tom, I got a question for you. Yeah, sure. Do you playing 3-year-olds against older horses this time of year? It's funny. It's funny. You have to always be adaptive in your handicapping strategy and approach. And if you had asked me this question a year or two ago, I would have said absolutely not. I would not play any 3-year-olds against older until maybe later in the summer. Okay. But the way the condition book has changed now in Southern California, the trainers and the connections are kind of forced to run 3-year-olds against older. And believe it or not, they're being competitive. Okay. If you were to go back and look at the result charts, there's been multiple instances where 3-year-olds have beaten older. So it kind of goes against the grain of what I've been taught and believed. But because of the changes in the condition book, it's actually becoming now more and more of a reality. I was just curious of what your thoughts were on that. And
Because we have a few 3-year-olds in here tackling older, including number 2, Cornelia Fort.
I think the 6 on the drop is Phil D'Amato's horse is probably the horse to beat, and I use the 2 with it, John Sadler's horse.
Yep, understandably.
Didn't have a strong opinion in this race, but obviously you look at Phil's horse dropping down from stake race, one other than down to 32 claimer.
So let me get in
Nice
your mind.
work.
You asked me a question. Let me get in your mind, John. So this is a 5-year-old mare who has some ability, but now she's in for 32. Del Mar's around the corner. So this time of year, a lot of barns play equine poker. Claim me if you're willing to take a chance. Would you claim a filly like Anna Glassa? Do you think
would
she's
look at
valued?
her.
Do you think she's valued?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I would think that horse would be worth 32,000.
You got to believe that there's going to be multiple claims in for her today
I
as
would
well.
say there would be.
Let's see. In race number 8, John likes 6-2-2-6. Let's take a look at race number 9 back on the main track. 6.5 furlongs the distance. This race is for 3-year-old fillies, non-winners of 1 other than 2 scratches. Scratch the inside and outside. Number 1, Liberal Lady, and number 8, She's Resilient. Leaves us with a field of 6. Morning Line favorite from the Michael McCarthy barn. Kind of laid an egg in the Sandy Oaks, but she's got a lot of ability. Number 5, Clearly Unhinged. The daughter of Into Mischief is the 2-1 Morning Line favorite. How'd you see race 9?
That's where I landed. I thought that race back in February was impressive. I had it against the flow that race. It was big closers in that race. And I thought that this horse, I don't know if, the 7, obviously you got to look at Bob's horses, the 2 and the 7. The 2 ran, and the first race that Clearly Unhinged ran, she ran a 4 on the Thrilograph. The 7 ran an 8, and Bob's horse 2, the best it was that Del Mar ran an 8.5. B+ work there. But I kind of went on the 6 or on the 5, went 5-7.
Question for you, John. Number 8, She's Resilient. A lot of handicappers are going to tend to dismiss her because I think they're worried about her class level. But all she does is win. She's 3 for 3 lifetime. She's never been headed at the opening quarter-mile pole. She's going to be a bit of a price in here with the 2 Baffert runners and the Michael McCarthy runner as well. Do you give her any sort of a look on the outside?
Now, I have her scratched. Is that not right?
I'm sorry. You're absolutely
Okay.
right. I marked the program. I didn't mark the
Okay, I
racing
didn't know
form.
if she was.
No, you're absolutely
Okay,
right.
okay.
But she's out. My bad. Race that we're a fast-moving live TV show. My bad. Race number 10 closes out the day in here at the Great Race Place, and we're going 1 mile on the turf course. $32,000 is the claiming level. Non-winners of 2 races lifetime. There is 1 scratch in here, and it's the also eligible number 12. Circle of Champions has been declared out of the race, but what a way to end the card. We've got a full field of 11, and the morning line favorite is number 4, Tom and Jazzy, who's 3-1 on the morning line. Also take note, number 8, Tangled Up in Gray, is a first-time gelding. A lot of ways you can go here, John. Which way are you going?
I went landed on the 9 with Steve Knapp. I talked to him. The horse has been rough start, checked, troubled, and with a clean, once again, same time as the horse in the first race, with a clean trip with Tiago Pereira. I think this horse is live. It had a B work. Looks like all systems are go. And I like the 9, and then ended up on the John Doyle. We talked to him. He likes the 2. He thinks the 2 is going to move up on the turf. Trusty Rusty.
9 and 2 to close it out. And if you want to have fun watching a replay for number 9, Frost Alert, John's top choice in the race, go back and watch the replay for March 27th. The trouble line says rough start. That would be an understatement. Jockey Edwin Maldonado almost fell out of the saddle coming out of the starting gate. The fact he was able to hang on and complete the race certainly was a testament to his athletic ability. John, thank you so much for your time and insight today. It's always great to have you on track.
It's been an honor for you to invite me.
It's our honor to have you here as well and support California racing. So thanks so much for your support. Best of luck with your 2 runners today, as well as all your selections, and we'll see you in the winner's circle.
Thank you so much.
Thanks to all of you for watching as well. Hope you enjoyed it. Next voice you hear will be track announcer Frank Miramati updating us with any late program changes. I'll make sure I note them all in my racing form. Have fun, everybody, and good luck.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Santa Anita Park. The track is fast, the turf firm, rail on the turf at 20 feet. Here are the changes. First race, we have a nice super high 5 carryover from last week. Great wagering opportunity with this 8-horse field. 12,030